Welcome to the appendix, where we read the primary sources of the past so that the present can be better understood. Today's primary source, Commonwealth vs. Caton et al., Virginia Reports 4, Call 5, 1782. John Canton was condemned for treason by the General Court of Virginia under the Act of the Assembly concerning that offense passed in 1776, which took from the executive the power of granting pardon in such cases. The House of Delegates, by resolution of June 1782, granted him a pardon and sent it to the Senate for concurrence, which was refused. Caton continued in jail under the sentence, and in October 1782, the Attorney General moved in the General Court that execution of the judgment might be awarded. The prisoner pleaded the pardon granted by the House of Delegates. The Attorney General denied the validity of the pardon, as the state had not concurred in it, and the General Court adjourned the case for novelty and difficulty to the Court of Appeals. This is one of the very earliest alleged cases in the United States where the question of the validity of an unconstitutional act was considered. White, J. Among all the advantages which have arisen to mankind from the study of letters and the universal diffusion of knowledge, there is none of more importance than the tendency they have had to produce discussions upon the respective rights of the sovereign and the subject, and upon the powers which the different branches of the government may exercise. For by this means tyranny has been sapped, the departments kept within their own spheres, the citizens protected, and general liberty promoted. But this beneficial result attains to higher perfection when those who hold the purse and the sword, differing as to the powers which each may exercise, the tribunals who hold neither are called upon to declare the law impartially between them. For thus the pretensions of each party are fairly examined, their respective powers ascertained, and the boundaries of authority peacefully established. Under these impressions I approach the question which has been submitted to us, and although it was said the other day by one of the judges that, imitating that great and good man, Lord Hell, he would sooner quit the bench than determine it, I feel no alarm, but will meet the crisis as I ought, and in the language of my oath of office will declare it according to the best of my skill and judgment. I have heard of an English chancellor who said, and it was nobly said, that it was his duty to protect the rights of the subject against the encroachments of the crown, and that he would do it at every hazard. But if it was his duty to protect a solitary individual against the rapacity of the sovereign, surely it is equally mine to protect one branch of the legislature, and consequently the whole community, against the usurpation of the other. And whenever the proper occasion occurs, I shall feel the duty and fearlessly perform it. Whenever traitors shall be fairly convicted by the verdict of their peers before the competent tribunal, if one of the branches of the legislature, without the concurrence of the other, shall attempt to rescue the offenders from the sentence of the law, I shall not hesitate, sitting in this place, to say to the General Court, Fiat Justia ruit coram, and to the usurping branch of the legislature, you attempt worse than a vain thing, for although you cannot succeed, you set an example which may convulse society to its center. Nay more, if the whole legislature, an event to be deprecated, should attempt to overlap the bounds prescribed to them by the people, I, in administering the public justice of the country, will meet the united powers at my seat in this tribunal, and, pointing to the Constitution, will say to them, here is the limit of your authority, and hither shall you go, but no further. I am therefore of the opinion that the pardon pleaded by the prisoners is not valid, and that it ought to be so certified to the General Court. Thank you for joining us on our primary source today on the appendix. We will see you in the stacks.